right? And we are starting on page 173. It's the fifth line from the top of the page. The line starts with the word K'may Kain.
Abba Paltiel, you said last class that the seichel, the midas are higher than the seichel and the etzem.
Do again?
The seichel, the
Right.
midas are higher than the seichel and the etzem.
Right.
Because in the nefesh, it only wants the truth, right? So therefore, it only wants the truth, and so why is it focused on the want rather than the truth, right? Take what the next truth, maybe it's just what I want, but a nefesh only wants the truth. So therefore, I don't follow how they were saying, and then because in the etzem and the nefesh, maybe it's hard because of the want, why not because of the truth? Does that make sense?
But I said, I can understand that it's a subtle thing. In the koiches hanefesh, the seichel and the midas are separate. Are in two different madrigas. The seichel perceives the truth, and the midas respond on the personal level. This is what I want for myself. The seichel doesn't understand it because this is what makes sense to myself. The seichel understands the way it is, and the midas take it to myself, the way I feel about it. So it's two separate levels, two separate koiches, two separate times. In the nefesh, both of these are simultaneous, are one and the same thing. Nefesh does not have a state where the nefesh perceives something that does not also pertain to itself. The nefesh knows the truth through itself, because the nefesh is the truth. So because the nefesh knows the truth to itself, so seichel and midas, or the function of seichel and midas, is the same, is one. Because the nefesh, that's what the nefesh is, the truth, and it's the nefesh. The nefesh wants it for itself. But the midas aspect of it is deeper than the seichel aspect. Because why does the nefesh understand, quote unquote, so to speak? Because it wants it. So there, the midas aspect, or its essence itself, comes before the seichel. You've heard, we discussed many times, that actually seichel derives from the rotzen. It means that rotzen, which is akin to midas at a higher level, is higher than seichel.
So seichel is a result of midas?
Sorry?
Seichel is a result of midas?
No, seichel is not the result of midas.
Does not seichel become caused because of midas?
No. On the contrary, seichel reveals the midas. You see, it's a little bit, very subtle, a little deep. I want you to try to see if you understand this point. Seichel does not understand things just because they are there. Seichel understands things because it can make sense of them. It gives reason. Like normally seichel, you need proof that this is true. Without proofs, I don't know if it's true or not. Just by looking at it, I don't know if it's true or not. That's what seichel is. Even though that we say that in seichel there is that level of seichel which is called chokhmah, and chokhmah sees the thing directly, not through proofs. But what does it see? It sees that this is true, and that it's self-proving. But there is the sense of proof, not through a process of proof, but through a process of recognizing that it's true. But still, there is the sense that I'm being convinced, I'm recognizing that this is true.
So there is no proof.
There is no proof because Chokhmah does not need proof. It sees through and sees right away that it's true. Which means it's proof at a different level.
Because of its own self?
Because it sees the depth
the
of
relation.
it. It sees the depth of it. And therefore it's true. Therefore it recognizes its truth without having to go through an external process of proving it. But nevertheless, there is the essence that the Chokhmah relates to is that this is true. Which means this is like an external thing.
So just like Ratzon and Taina.
One second. Midas, on the other hand, Midas don't need that at all. I feel this. I feel it. This is why we actually need a little control over our Midas. Because they can go haywire. Because Midas are just an expression of the self. And if I'm misled, I can want something which is not correct, not good, not wantable. Because Midas is a direct connect. In the nefesh, sees that the nefesh does not know things to any kind of a process. Nefesh is Elokus. Nefesh is the truth itself. So therefore, in nefesh, there is no need. There isn't the sense that I know this because it's correct. There is no because in the nefesh. I know this because I know this. And if I know this, then that itself means that I'm relating to it. That means that it's true. Am I getting through?
So the fact that there's the ability of personal relation, like we say that the midas is always a recognition through a personal relationship, something not abstract, but because, so the fact that in the nefesh there can be a personal relationship with a concept means that it's true. It's a true concept. It's a true union.
Right.
It relates to the essence of a nefesh.
That personal relationship in midas, in nefesh translates in midas. But in midas, it's not guaranteed that it's going to be correct. You have to be guided by seichel. But it's a derivative of that quality in the nefesh. Midas is a direct. Seichel only explains the rotzen, but midas is an actual reflection of the rotzen.
So therefore, above, when we talk about above the individual koyfes, that's when the shorish of the midas is higher, and the seichel is lower, because the seichel is holding a level that even in comparison to, even in regards to the nefesh, it still has to find a reason.
That's right.
But when you flip it around on the reverse side of it, so then when the midas translate down to the koyfes, so they've been removed from this direct personal experience of the nefesh, so therefore they need the guidance of the seichel.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so everything's clear, besides the fact that you said that the Seichel recognizes the truth because of its depth. Yeah?
It's the Chokhmah.
Because of its depth. But it cannot grasp the truth, right?
Well, I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but if you're referring to what we discussed usually about Chokhmah does not grasp. Chokhmah, the special quality of Chokhmah is bitul. What does bitul mean? It's illustrated by the sense of sight. Sight, how do we see through our physical eyes? What is eye? Eye is different than a hand. A hand actually has a sense of touch. It feels what it. The eye simply allows the light to go through unobstructed. No interference. It receives whatever you put in there without complaint, without interference. And therefore that's why sight is so complete, it's so true, because it does not need a personal experience of seeing. I see what there is. The hand has to have a personal experience of touch. This is Chokhmah. Chokhmah sees or understands that which there is to see, not that which it understands, like Bina, that makes sense and puts things in perspective.
So it sees. It's a fact. I saw it.
That's it. I saw it. Exactly. This is why in Chokhmah there is that phenomenon of a Borog HaMavrik. You all heard that, right? Borog HaMavrik, like a spark. Never heard the word Borog HaMavrik? That's in Tanya. Like a spark, like a flash of light. Chokhmah, and its revealed level, that's the external, the revealed level of Chokhmah, it comes like a flash of light. Not like Bina that comes in an orderly and a predefined form. Chokhmah is an instant flash of light. And everything becomes clear all of a sudden. This flash of light, there's nothing to grasp. It's not a tangible. But it's just a light that illuminates. Just like the light that shines on this table, you can't touch the light. You can't even explain what it means to see. But you see.
And that idea that the Chachma is like the eye. You said that the Chachma is focused on the nefesh. Meaning the Chachma is looking at nefesh to see what's flashing. Is anything which comes to Chachma, anything which is true Chachma, it's because it exists vanished in the nefesh.
Right.
You can say that the Chachma, so to speak, focused on the nefesh. And it's just taking in whatever emes comes from there. When it flashes, that's what it is.
Chokhmah is like asking a question above it and says, tell me what the answer is. And it comes in as a flash.
Every once in a while, the nefesh flips on the light and then
Poof.
turns it off again.
That's right.
Remember everything in the room is.
Right.
Using of Chokhmah. If Chokhmah is when you see the thing, not as it affects you, but like only how the thing is itself. Yeah?
I'm sorry.
Like Chokhmah is like seeing, which means you can see something that is not what you want to see. It's what it is.
Right.
It's not like feeling that if you don't want to touch hot water, you're not going to touch it. So then according to all this, why do we say that Dafka, the people that work on Chokhmah is the people that are less related to, are the people that are less bitul? It should be the other way around. If you work al pi chokhmah, which means you can relate to things in an absolute level, it should be much more emes than if you don't.
You don't mean
take care-
chokhmah, you mean seichel in general.
So what's it? I don't understand this.
You mean seichel, because there is really that which is, like I said before, in chokhmah, the flash of light gives you a sense that this is correct. This is correct. The concept that this is correct already separates you from the aspect, from the object itself. This is correct. In other words, there is two people, you and there's two entities, you and the thing that you know. Do you understand what I'm saying? And therefore, that is not the total beetle as there is in higher in the Mesiras Nefesh, where there is no separation whatsoever.
So since in the nefesh there's no separation between you and what you know and you and the truth, so then it seems like the midos aspect where it's a personal relationship is deeper, right? Because also like it's reflected in higher kaychas like Ratzon and Tainen, what a person personally relates to.
That's right.
So why is that a nefesh has this quality of a personal relationship? Yeah, like what's it? Why is that a divine characteristic of a nefesh? Like why it's so important? What's personally relevant to it?
To fully answer your question, with regards to go to big circles. But in a nutshell, everything that we understand, there are the two parts to it. There's the thing itself and how we understand it. When we understand something, we want to know the truth about the thing itself. The thing itself is the truth. And we get to know about it. Understand that? That's how it is. Huh?
I think so.
Yeah. The nefesh gives life. The nefesh does not understand life. The nefesh is life. This is the thing itself. The thing all understanding is to understand the truth about the nefesh. The nefesh is that truth itself, which gives life, which is life. If we understood what life is, but we didn't have life, then we wouldn't have life. You understand what I'm saying? You have to have life also, besides understanding it. Life comes to us through the faculties of Chokhmah, because Chokhmah is bottled and is able to receive the shine from the Nefesh. But the Nefesh, that is life itself. Just like, for instance, let's say the sun. The sun gives us light. But the light is only telling us about the sun. But the sun itself is the essence of light. It's not something else. That's the real essence and truth of life, of light. You understand this?
I think I understand what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying, but I don't necessarily grasp what the relationship is to the question, though.
The nefesh, the sun gives light. Where does it get the light from?
So,
Hmm?
it is light.
It is light. From itself. The nefesh gives you seichel. Where does it take it from? From itself. Its own self is the truth. All right. Coming back to earth a little bit. Okay, we are on this fifth line. We might as well start from the beginning of that line. The seichel arouses the midah. Would be lodoi, and without the seichel, hamidah is ki'ilu eino. The midas would be like they would not be there. Even though there inherently are midas, but the midas do not detect, do not find out on their own what they should want, where they should go to. And it is the seichel that prods the midas on and say, hey, I got something here that would be good for you.
So how could the seichel show the midah something which is like very low? How could the seichel show the midas like go eat ice cream? Or I don't know.
What's the question? Ice cream is delicious.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. There are very distinct, different types of seichel, different types of midas. There is a seichel that identifies things that are good because the seichel says they're good. And then the seichel presents to the midas and says, look, I tell you, trust me, it's good. The midas have to then trust the seichel and say, yeah, it's good. Then there is seichel that asks the midas, what do you like? Midas says, I like something sweet. Seichel says, hey, this is sweet.
Ice cream.
Completely different thing.
It's also brought in Tanya, right? In like the 6th chapter about the idea that the seichel can sometimes the seichel is makabel from the midas, and sometimes it works the other way around. It can rise from below to above.
I don't know what you're referring to. Essentially, it's midas seichel, midas of nefesh olekis, and midas of nefesh abahamis, and the seichel of nefesh olekis and seichel of nefesh abahamis.
Oh yeah. So the seichel of the nefesh abahamis is makabel from the midas
Yeah.
to the nefesh abahamis.
Mm-hmm. But the true seichel, the true midas, is midas that are created by seichel. Created by seichel means that even though, again, the midah exists on its own, but it does not act on its own. our feet are able to walk. But if we don't have a destination, they can't walk. There's no, they can't make a single step. So that it is true to say that when we walk, it is our seichel or our midas that are causing the feet to walk. Because without that, our feet would not have the energy to walk. Nothing to arouse them to walk. This is illustrated by a person who is lazy, doesn't have the spirit, the inspiration to do anything. And he finds it difficult to pick up his feet. Even though he's healthy and agile, he's an athlete, and he can get up. Because in order to do a physical act, you have to have a spirit that arouses it, even on a physical level. And surely on a level of midas.
From Ratzon, yeah?
What?
To Ratzon, yeah?
The Ratzon is the source of midas. But what arouses the midas and defines them and gives them the impetus to start being active, it is the seichel. V'lochein, and thus lefi oifen haseichel kach hi hamida. According to the way the seichel is, this is how the midah is going to be. Meyachar, since that sheiker hisoirus hamida hi mei haseichel, because the principal arousal of the midah is from the seichel. In other words, when the seichel arouses the midah doesn't start running on its own. It follows through on that which the seichel has aroused it to do. It doesn't start, okay, oh, you woke me up, okay, now let me jump. No. He woke me up to do this, and this is what he wants to do. The seichel continues to give the light to the midas what they should want. And without that light, the midah cannot want anything. V'lochein, and thus, koton misavad dvorim ktanim, a koton desires small things, mepnei she'ein no imasik besichlo dvorim gdeilim, Kiim dvorim ktanim. Because that he does not comprehend in his seichel bigger things, only small things, and therefore you could not interest him that his midas should want bigger things, because you cannot want in your midas that which you do not comprehend, that which you do not understand. Because that which you do not understand does not exist in your world. It's just not real. The seichel presents it, and then you want it. Lozois, and for this reason, gam midos of him idvorim ktanim. His midos are all vested in small things. Vehagodoil, but the mature person, shemasik dvorim gdeilim, who comprehends bigger things. Lochein gam midois of heim bidvorim gdei lehoerech. His midois are also to things that are gdei lehoerech, that have greater value. Yeah. And it's all because of the seichel. V'zehu gam kin ha'hefreish ben seichel the nefesh habamis l'seichel the nefesh olikis. This also explains the difference between the seichel of the nefesh habamis and the seichel of the nefesh olikis. After we read a few lines, we'll discuss Nefesh Habahamis first and Nefesh Elikis then. The Nefesh Habahamis, the Nefesh Habahamis means the behemoth, the animal type of Nefesh. Even in the human being, there is a behemoth type of Nefesh. Kol Haskolo Sehu, his entire comprehension, his entire insight, is bidvorim gashmi. He's only into physical things. Umare, and the seichel, his seichel shows him, eich sheinyonei ha'olam heim toiv. He shows him the goodness of the world, of the things in the world. Umisava aleim, and thus he desires them, because his seichel shows him how worldly things are good. So let's for the moment understand Nefesh HaBahamis and the Seichel of the Nefesh HaBahamis. And if you understand that, this will help us understand the Nefesh Olikis and the Seichel of the Nefesh Olikis. What is, in general, and say Nefesh Abam is Nefesh Ha'odam, Nefesh Olikis. This is essentially the difference between the human being and the animal. And what is the primary difference between the human being and the animal? Clearly, the human being has seichel and so forth, and the animal does not have seichel. How do we understand what is the primary difference?
Speech.
This is the difference in function. Talking about inside nefesh. What is the difference in terms of
Intelligence.
what is intelligence? What is intelligence? This is a rhetorical question.
Oh, okay.
What is the nefesh? What's a behemoth and what's odom? It is illustrated even in the way they are formed, the way their bodies are formed. The behemoth stands on four, and essentially it looks at the ground, at the earth. Its bigger reality is the earth.
What does that mean, bigger reality?
Bigger reality means
The main thing.
yeah, what makes the behemoth, run, jump, is because it sees an expanse of earth. The human being is so built that the human being inevitably means as he is standing, he has to see the sky. What's in the sky versus the earth? earth is tangible. The sky is intangible. That means that in essence, a human being, for him to be able to relate to something, even in the physical world, if he is coming from a human perspective, he has to see in it a value that is not tangible, that is more than just the Metzias, the Gashmidik Metzias. The animal, on the other hand, is not interested at all in the intangible. The animal values and relates only to that which is perfectly tangible. Now it's something that it can actually physically experience. That's world. The human being, even at a low level, the human being goes into imagery, into imagination. What's imagination? Imagination means that his thought takes him to a level that is not tangibly there, that's not physically there. So that's imagery. But in reality, like we pointed out many times, even at the low level of the Seichel Anushi, that when a person identifies a situation, like identifies this situation, we're sitting around the table, he will not identify the tangible part of it, the table and the chairs and the floor and the ceiling. He will not relate to. He will relate to an idea, to an intangible thing. Something above, something higher than the tangible thing. And this something higher, this interesting, this gives him a sense of reality. He can really relate to that. If you were to tell him, oh, there's tables and chairs and this, so what? What's that about? He's asking, what's that about? Not what's that. What's that about? What's it for? What does it represent? What does it stand for? That's human. An animal doesn't even have that in its concept. Doesn't even have that in its imagination. What is that about? What is this for? Nothing. What is it? This is essentially what he says over here in these words, that he's interested in inyone ha'olam. Inyone ha'olam. What's inyone ha'olam? What's world? Okay, he's coming back. He probably went in there. I know he's coming over here. Okay. I thought he just came into, he went into tell him, no, it's just on a personal, okay. I don't want him to miss this. So you'll repeat it. What's oilam? You know the oilam.
Yeah.
What's in Yonah oilam? World, by definition, is a put together a conglomeration of many things that act on each other. That's world. Like we say, there is what's a table? A table is a board with 4 legs that hold it up. What's the concept of a table? The concept of a table is already kind of a higher aspect in the world. This is already a concept. And it doesn't consist of 4 legs in a board. This is how you formulate it, you translate the concept. The concept itself is something else. It's like a spiritual concept. The behemoth is interested in the world aspect of everything. It's more clearly illustrated to us in the following. A human being has, even on the most simplest level, if he takes a piece of bread to eat, he wants to know that the bread belongs to him. To eat someone else's bread, he doesn't feel good. What's the difference? This is bread and this is bread. His stomach doesn't know the difference. His behemoth doesn't know the difference. But his human being does know the difference. And it makes all the difference. Inside the world, he can't tell the difference. Here's a piece of bread, here's a piece of bread. What's the difference? And the Gemara even says, you may have learned it, that a person prefers one measure of his own, something that he worked on, than 9 measures that he obtains from somebody else. Legally, he obtains it legally. He didn't steal it or anything. But this is my creation. That's not worldly. That's not purely worldly. I mean, it's not ruchnis, it's not godliness. It's human. It's not behemoth. Behemoth doesn't know the difference. Couldn't really care less. This means oilo. Oilo means, what does it consist of? What does it constitute? What is it built from? And that's all I'm interested in. Is it edible or is it not edible? Don't give me the highfalutin ideas. What does it taste like? That's oilo. Always seeking out the low end of things. And the seichel of the nefesh habahamis. This is the nefesh. This is its tendency. This is its tendency. And because its tendency is to the lower level, it formulates a seichel. It actually can argue the case. You argue the case, it can actually prove to you, yeah, that's the right thing. It can argue the case. I don't know where you're going, what you're talking about. You know, fat on the earth, fat on the ground. What's the expression? You go, you work, you have money, you got something. No, you want a job that you're interested in, that has a purpose, that you're accomplishing something. What are you doing? Because the nefesh abahamis, the nefesh is a behemoth, and he's essentially interested in worldly things. His seichel works along that line. And he actually is able to show him that worldly things are good. That world, per se. Not like when you're saying that to do mitzvahs in the world is a great thing. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the world per se. it actually makes sense to him. That world per se is really a good thing. To say a lie, what's the big deal? What did you get for the lie? You got $100? You got something. He wants to be honest, so he overpays, and he always has an honest way. What's with this guy? What's with this guy? I recall in Yeshiva there was a bocher. The Encyclopedia Talmudis. You know the Encyclopedia Talmudis? You have it here, right? This was going back many years when I was in Yeshiva, and that's when it first started to come out. There were 5 volumes or 10 volumes then. So, if you became a member in the Mizrahi club, Mizrahi is a certain party in Israel. If you became a member in the Mizrahi club, you get the 10 volumes gratis, free, as an introduction to your membership, as a, appreciation of your membership. Okay? So you went and you became a member, you paid his membership dues, and you got these volumes. I don't know how many volumes it was. And I couldn't understand this. What did you get? What's the point? You got 10 volumes. So what? Look how what you went around to get it.
Sold out.
So what is this? How can you be proud of having these 10 volumes? If you buy them, even if you overpay, but I got something. This is nothing. But the Nefesh Abamis doesn't understand. The Nefesh Abamis says, I got something. Look at my shelf. Boom, 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 boom. So the Seichel of Nefesh Abamis actually works along these lines, and he can explain to you and convince you that in Yoneh Ho'elam Artoiv. Because the Nefesh Abamis has that tendency. He can really understand it.
But now it's 27 volumes, so it would be worth it. Does this party still offer this deal?
I can get a phone number.
27th volume just came out.
I'll tell you one thing.
Cash in.
I'll tell you one thing. That I know for a fact, he happens to know the guy, I don't think he ever opened it. I don't think he ever read one entry in it. That's the only thing I'll tell you.
It seems like those two things go perfectly together. The kind of person that would sign up to a political party for the free books, the kind of guy that wouldn't really open them.
So you teach what he says here. As Kolosi b'dvarim gashmi umare, the Seichel shows eich shinyone ha'olam heim toiv, how things of the world are good. They're useful, they're real, they're solid. It's good. Umisava aleim, and therefore he desires it. V'hainu. And this is similar. K'moi seichel hakoton. Just like the seichel of the small child. Shemas igrad dvorim. Ktane ho'erech. Like he can understand only things, tane ho'erech, of little value. But these things of little value, these are the things that he understands. And these are the things that he wants. He relates to them. A candy to a child is much more valuable than a watch. How do you compare? and the midas follow the seichel. V'hanefesh ho'elikis, then there is also the nefesh ho'elikis. Kol haskolosoi v'hasogosoi hu be'elikus. Its comprehension and its insight is exclusively in the Elikus. Because the nefesh ho'elikis is, in the nature of the nefesh ho'elikis is that it's looking for something absolute, for something real. And therefore its whole understanding is in Elikus, mizboinein, and therefore he can reflect and contemplate. Umare besichloi, and he brings out proofs and he shows with his seichel, eich shalokus toiv. He shows how Elikus is good. B'lochein, and thus, kol chefzo yoritzeinei hu la'avaya levadi. This is why the whole desire and the drawing of the nefesh ho'elikis is la'avaya levadi, is only to Hashem. Because that's the only thing he can really relate in his seichel. All right. You'll have a couple of days a day to think. Maybe Wednesday night, Mr. Shem, we'll have a chance to talk more about the nefesh ho'elikis. Okay. They rooted in the answer.
So because the soul is also for its soul, for its
Right. It's the real thing. Right?
They're saying they have the same nature as the soul.